Woohoo! And can you feel these Saturday vibes? Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Living in the Miracle. And today we have our dear guest, Laura Parke. Laura, can you say a little bit about yourself and what you're doing in this world?
Besides living life, huh? Living La Viva Loco is what's this Randy sings about? Living La Viva Loco. Living the crazy life. I'm a native Floridian, born and raised in Miami, actually third generation. My dad was born here, so my grandmother was from Nassau. She traveled to Key West and immigrated through this country through there. And when Flagler moved down with the train, she moved into North Miami. That's how I got here. She owned a restaurant on Miami Beach in the roaring 20s and 30s and employed her sisters to help her be seamstresses. And so she had my dad and his two sisters. And but that's how I got here. All my brothers were born here. I was too. And my dad was an avid fisherman. He was also in the Air Force. And one day he came home from the reserves and had scuba equipment with him. And this was probably 1967 or 68. And we learned in our pool. I originally went to college to become a registered nurse. But I first saw firsthand that sometimes modern medicine makes you more sick, right? It's your mind and that you think about and your actions that really kind of lead to illnesses. So I knew that wasn't, my life's path for a long journey. Yes, I love the education, but I just knew I was supposed to move on from there. And so as life turned out, my father passed away and had an advertising business. So my brother and I took that over for a while, and that was a great portal for me to advertise health and wealth, right? Not just money wealth, but when you have your health, you have abundance.
Everything. Totally.
There are millionaires today that would give all their money to have their health and get out of bed. I've seen it, okay? And there's not enough money in the world that can make that happen for them. But anyway, we were in business together for 15 years. And again, I had to reinvent myself. In 1996, approximately then, I started having feelings like I wanted to, be a dive instructor. And it was always in the back of my mind. I just never pursued it because when I had scuba come around in the early 70s, there was one dive shop in Miami. That's really not enough to sustain a lot of, business. So, 30 years passed and now there's 60 dive shops in the Tri-County area. And I saw an opportunity where people really needed private lessons when it comes to scuba and snorkeling. When you swim, and it's amazing how many people don't swim in the state of Florida. Your life depends on that. If you fall into the water or you drive your car, God forbid, off the road into a canal. Florida is surrounded by 3,000 lakes and rivers. Yes, it's that many. So, and God forbid you're at a pool party and you fall in the pool. God, don't embarrass yourself. Learn how to swim. But anyway, sorry, I got off on that tangent. But, people drown every year. That's why I kind of went there. But as it went out, I took lots of classes to be the dive instructor. You have to take 5 classes: open water, advanced rescue, dive master, and then the instructor development course. Well, I took them over a 10-year span while I was an avid diver. And so the time came in 2002. We had just, gone through another recession, and I was downsized. And so I thought, well, I had just turned 42. And, if you live to be 80, if I live to be 80, I looked at myself and I go, half my life's over. And so I should do what I really enjoy doing. And I knew I would be good at it and make a lot of money at it. And I finally took my last course in diving and became a dive instructor in 2002. The internet was just evolving then. So I actually went online and purchased privatescubalessons.com for $35. And it was the best purchase I ever made in my whole life, because it's made me thousands of dollars, but it's also allowed me to serve a lot of people that have had fears and phobias associated with the ocean, whether it's swimming itself, whether it's the creatures, I get to confront all of that. And of course, it's in a loving and nurturing way. But, people watch too much television when it comes to the ocean, especially about sharks. They do not, you jump in and they come to take a bite out of you. That is just a lot of Hollywood, right? So I get people from all over the world that find me. And I really had started to not downsize, but upsize into snorkeling, because I saw so many opportunities for it, and there weren't a lot of lessons for it. It is beneath most dive instructors to want to snorkel. They think, oh, you're not under the water, you're just swimming on the surface. Snorkeling is actually harder than scuba diving. So, because you have to do everything yourself. And so, this is the life I've been living for 22 years. And this winter, though, Florida had another opportunity for me to reinvent myself. Let me go grab some water here.
Oh my God. I just love what you're sharing. And you know what? It also gives so much light in terms of, people are so much hooked up with the traditional way of living. So, okay, you had your career as registered nurse, but yet you had this passion that you wanted to pursue. And at the same token, you realize that you can actually have your health not only with the traditional medicine, right? Knowing that there are other ways how we can heal, how we can be very healthy. And I just totally salute you for that, because a lot of times people are just sitting in that fear and they can't even step outside of that comfort zone because, okay, like a registered nurse, they are making pretty good living. So who would ever dare to leave that job, secure job? That's the key, secure job, and go after something you don't even want to know where it's going to take you, right? But that's exactly what the bold action is all about. Because when people really connect to their gifts and talents, and when they pursue it fearlessly, the way the energy works, sooner or later, you're going to meet your creation. Sooner or later, you have that success. But people are so hooked up on, oh my God, what if something is not going to work out, right? They never think, what if it's going to work out? They always imagine the worst case scenarios. And that's exactly what I'm teaching my clients. I said, we all have this amazing faculty of imagination. But when we were little ones, we always think of, okay, I want to be a ballerina. I want to be an astronaut. All these dreams, right? We were thinking without any borders. But once we became 5 or 6, then we heard everybody around saying, like, stop daydreaming, be more realistic. So by the time we grow up, all we use our imagination is to scare the heck out of ourselves. Each time something is presented, and like we always can act either from love or from fear. When something great presented, all of a sudden our logical, analytical mind is just like that hammer that says to us, oh, really? Who says you can do it? Right? And what if it's not going to work? So like I said, it's so beautiful just to show people that miracles are always around us. They are in our everyday life, but it's a matter of how willing you are to tune in and start really noticing that.
Absolutely. And, you know, I love the saying, I heard it recently. I became an overnight success in 20 years. You know, This doesn't happen overnight. Living your dream doesn't happen overnight. And my best advice to give someone to living their dream is to have something to fall back on. Because, you know, business always won't be good in your chosen dream. You know, I have fallen back on nursing when scuba diving wasn't good. And I'm in that position now. I mean, in January and February in Florida was windy, overcast, and 55 degrees. Nobody was doing diving, even going to the beach. So I've had to reinvent myself again, you know, and that's the best advice I could give somebody, is to keep your options open, right? Everybody needs to learn to do more than one thing in today's society. And the other astonishing thing I heard recently that's kind of overwhelming is that in today's society, today's business person needs to learn 10 new apps a year just to stay relevant. Wow.
Right. It's truly wow. And another thing, Laura, what's important is that once we work on ourselves, we become our own economy. We do not depend on anybody. And, you know, that word that you are using, reinvent yourself, this is what we do it. You know, there is no such a thing and once and done, right? Because we always grow, we always evolve, we always want to expand in our knowledge, in our experience, in our skills, right? Because that's the beauty of life. Either you're just staying comfortable and every day is just, you know, the repetition of your last day, or you just venture out and you know it's going to be an experience you're going to explore. Yes, you're going to fall, but you're going to fall forward, because you are not the first one and you're not the last one who actually decided to live the life on your own terms. And people who really decide to live the life on their terms, they actually the ones to experience the lifeness of life, to experience the best out of it. And they are very fearless, because they understand that in order to be fearless, you know that the life is going to be limitless, because nothing is going to stop you if you're really passionate about something, because this is something that drives you. This is something that gives you life. Otherwise, it's just existence.
That's exactly right. And perfectly said, Irina. I mean, I have nothing to add, because that's exactly how it works, you know? And people view failure as, you know, a negative thing. It's actually a positive, because it gives you a way that didn't work. So now you got to try something else.
Right. Failure is just the feedback, right?
Exactly.
And that's why I always say, you know, like for people who are pondering and just, you know, like testing the waters, I said it's very important to be working with somebody who can actually guide you and take you from where you are to where you want to be, because you have that structure of support, you have that proven system, and also you're going to stay with the community of like-minded people, because the people that could be like a family or friends, they are not necessarily the people who understand you, right? They might want the best for you, but they always look from their experiences. So they are not the people who really want to take the advice from, because I tend to, you know, like close everybody's mouth very fast, because if they start giving me the advice, I'm just going to say, are you where I'm heading? If you are not where I'm heading, then I'm sorry, you cannot give me the advice.
I have found that people usually that are in that kind of a mindset about me are viewing me as successful, and,
yes,
and they're just jealous, you know. And I really don't. I really am a humble person, but there are so many people that are jealous of what I'm doing, right? And they think it's so easy just because I make it look that way. It's not, okay? Nobody has my swimming background. I played water polo. I was a lifeguard. People tried to drown me in the pool in a game. Okay, I notice things that other instructors overlook. And no matter what genre you're in or industry, right? If you really study it and you're passionate about it, and you network within your own community and you stay a sponge, right? And you're open to learning. And not just about your own industry, about other industries too. Because, you need more than one thing in a basket today's economy, like you were saying. So go out there and explore it, And we live in a great age. We really do. People don't realize that, how wonderful it is. Yeah, the economy does suck. It does. It does. I'm a first to admit it. But I don't feed into it, right? You got to keep going. You got to keep plugging. You got to keep reinventing yourself again. Find something else to do. And when you do that, you learn something. Not only just about yourself, but maybe another industry. 90% of success is just showing up. And I swear to God, that phrase still holds true today. Because I landed a job in January outside of scuba diving because I had to, right? It was cold, rainy, and 55 degrees. But I am rocking it, right? Because my intention is there. I am loving what I'm doing, and I'm learning something, not only about myself, but about another industry that I wanted to learn a lot about, actually. Just put on the back burner and never had the opportunity.
I love what you're sharing, and just, it's a great inspiration for people to understand, because a lot of times we look at others, right? And we think, oh my God, they are just lucky, or, they hit the jackpot. But honestly, all these people, it's like the iceberg. We only see the tip of that iceberg of success, of, recognition, of having a beautiful life, right? But we do not know anything what's like beyond that water, right? And beyond is the sweat, the failure, the tears, and everything else, right? But that's exactly, there is not a single successful people who was able to do it without any struggle or failure or setback. It's a part of the process. And that's the beauty of it, because through the struggles, we are actually growing. We become more resilient. We become more brave, and we discover that potential, that power that we have inside of us that we never realized, right? Because a lot of times we would just claim that, I don't think so, I can do it. Of course, because it's easy to just, play excuses and just say, I cannot do it. But what if you try, right? Try and see, and then prove to yourself that you cannot or you can, right?
Yeah, I love what Jim Rohn says. It's easy to do, it's easy not to do, right?
Totally.
It's easy to exercise, it's easy not to exercise.
Yes, the choice is yours, right?
But let's look at the down the road. What's the benefit of I exercise versus I don't exercise? I'll probably live longer, right? I'll probably have less injuries. I'll probably have better health all around, right?
Yes.
Versus I don't do it. And either choice is just as easy to do.
Yep. It's all in our perception, right? And what I love, it's like the people who have the growth mindset. They are constantly exploring, they are constantly learning, they are opening themselves up. And those are the people who actually attract the circumstances, attract the right people who are going to move them and propel them on the level that they want to be. Because that's exactly how the energy works. Because a lot of people are asking me, so what is that in that manifestation? So what is the magic? And the magic is, it's actually the energy. What we focus our attention on is going to expand. When we focus on problems, we are going to recreate the reality that has more problems. If we focus that we want to see the opportunities and we want to be successful and whatever makes our heart sing, we are going to start to see these opportunities. But again, it takes some rigorous work. And the inner work is the most rigorous work. And going back, like we were talking about the economy, but no matter how bad economy is, there are plenty of people who are having the lavish lifestyle. So if that was true, that we would depend on economy, everybody would be doing poor. But it's not true, because it has nothing to do with the outside circumstances. It has all to do with ourselves, because we are mirroring whatever our inner system is, whatever our inner thermostat is. We are actually mirroring that reality, right? Because the person who is always complaining about the life, the person who doesn't believe that something good is out there, is always going to be presented with more obstacles. But the person who sees the light, even though in the darkest place, they are going to be given that opportunity, because they start noticing the things others don't.
That's exactly right. I hope everybody just heard what she said.
But it's true. It's like I said, that we are the ones to decide for ourselves, right? And it doesn't matter, some people are limiting themselves, saying, oh, okay, I'm not at that age, I'm not at that stage. That's your story, right? That's their story that they keep telling themselves. And, I'm just inviting everybody to start creating new stories, because it doesn't matter from your age, it doesn't matter from your education, it doesn't matter who you are and what kind of past you had. If you decide from this moment on that you want to live differently, you have the entire power to do that. But again, it's the work, it's the inner work. And it's very difficult to do this work on your own. It's always good when you partner with somebody. It's always good when you have the guidance, when you have somebody who is going to be watching you and who is going to be guiding you and helping you, right? Because the most important thing, we are the ones not to believe in ourselves. So we want to have somebody who is going to say, I do believe in you. Even you do not believe in yourself, I know you can do it. I know you can have what you want. And that's exactly what majority of people want in this life. At least one person to believe in them. So this way they have more enthusiasm. This way they can just come and do whatever they have to do and just propel to the level they have to propel.
Yeah, that's great. One of the things I just want to pick up on with what you said is, our power of choice. And even though I may have not eaten the food choices I should have yesterday, today's a new day, and you got to go from there. And, when I had to reinvent myself in January, I said to myself, I'm going to stay grateful about this. And the good thing is I'm not going to have the same old winter season that I normally have, right? Back-to-back customers and scuba diving. I'm wet every day. And yeah, that would have been nice, because I spoiled myself in a lifestyle I became accustomed to. But, sometimes the streams dry up for a while before the flood comes again. And so I stayed positive. And I found something to do to make my money, pay bills, and learn a new industry. And I'm happy, and I don't know where this is coming from, other than I'm doing the things I know I'm supposed to do. And in this whole process, I've met a lot of new people at quite a few new businesses. And this one woman I was talking to has an autistic child. And she was actually coming to Florida, and she asked me some of the things that she could take her kids to do. And I don't know how it came up, but she said this most profound thing I've ever heard, was one of the things. And she said, my kid doesn't have to be the best at everything, referring to her autistic kid. But she tells her kid to do his best at everything. And I think that's so important, and I love that. I go, stop right there. I got to write this one down. And I go, you don't know what you just said. And she didn't. She goes, what did I just say? And I said, one of the most profound things I've ever heard, that I don't have to be the best. I just have to do my best. And don't compare myself to other people, either in my own industry or other professions. I only have to compare myself to the person I was yesterday. And how can I be better than that? Or I could choose to be, how can I be worse than that? Right? The choice is mine. But yeah, it'd be nice to always choose to be up, right? It's not a person on the planet. that couldn't improve about one thing about their lives. And that's why we're here doing this podcast. You know,
I love this. Yes, just bring more, like
positive
more,
consciousness to the
yes,
world, man.
And to show that it works if we work it, right? Because it's all in our perception. That's exactly how life is. If we are waking up in the morning and we are ready to count the blessings, wake up and say, hey, tomorrow, today I'm going to see the miracles. Let me see what miraculous is going to happen to me, right? What people I'm going to meet, what things I'm going to do, what I'm going to create. And let me count all these blessings and miracles. If we come with this open mind, guess what? We are going to see, because we are already setting these intentions. We are sending our energy that way, right? But when somebody else wakes up and say, oh, another dreading day, I have to do what I don't like to do, and I have to see those people that I can't stand, guess what? That's exactly what they're going to live through.
Exactly right. And you know what? We've all been at the point where, wow, I don't have a lot, I don't have that much money in my account as I'd like. But you know what? That's going to change.
Totally.
Tomorrow's a new day. Like you said, you don't know who's going to call, or, stay busy. That's what my mom used to say. If you're, down and depressed, stay busy. Get out of the house, right? Go networking, right? This is about a business podcast. Go to a group you've never been to before. Get on LinkedIn, reach out to people. And don't just, push your wares. Try to find out about stuff, be inquisitive, right?
Totally.
Supportive, encouraging of others goes a long way. It really does.
Absolutely. And you know what? I truly love what you just said, Laura, because we are all in it together. As much as the society tries to separate us and to say, oh, we are independent and we are very good to be on our own, this is not the truth. The truth is we are superpowered together, because we are all connected like little dots, right? Like the stars on the sky. We are all connected on the collective consciousness in that beautiful universe, right? And once we realize that, and once, sometimes it doesn't have to be monetary help. Sometimes a good word, sometimes the encouragement is something that, really is going to pull that person from depression and give them another chance to look for the day tomorrow.
Exactly. You never know what you could say that brighten somebody's day.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the invitation is, let's just spread love. Let's just spread light and give people the reason to experience and live to the fullest of their potential. Absolutely. And just give, yes. And like I said, we are living in the universe that whatever we are sending out there is going to come back to us. It doesn't have to be within the same people, but we are going to be rewarded with other people. So always be intentional about that, and know, like every day, wake up and say, what can I do today to serve somebody else, right? And you'll see how much gratitude you're going to receive from that. You are going to feel that you're going to feel better. Like your mood is going to be more uplifting. And the more you do these skills, the more you become in tune and in the flow with the universal energy. And then you start attracting more and more opportunities to yourself.
Absolutely. That's exactly how it works, And no matter what happens to you, stay positive, right? Because the alternative is negative. And it's not that we all don't go there. Of course we do. But I'll give everybody a tip. If you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired, halt, right? Hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. You're more apt to be negative then. So try not to let yourselves get in those emotional states, right? Because then everything seems to collapse. Okay, so stay positive no matter what. And I don't want to sound Pollyanna, because sometimes it's hard for me. Really, it's part of the human condition, though. But I think a word that we've lost touch with these days is the word considerate. Let me consider someone else before myself. You know? You don't hear that anymore. Really. 50 years ago, it was a vogue thing, you know, but not anymore. You know, how many people get a thank you note for something they did for somebody? You don't find that anymore. And I want that to come back. One of the things I saw on, I don't know if anybody watches on Saturday morning, Michael Spurkanish, but one of the big social issues that he thinks is the biggest issue of our time is our social disconnect as a society. I happen to agree with that because yes, we were politically divided, but we're staying that way, right? And it's not just about politics. It's over guns. It's over immigration. It's all over these things. That doesn't make us, we don't have to be separate about that. We might have different views, but we don't have to be ugly, right? I have a friend of mine, we both have opposite views, but we still have known each other since the 2nd grade, right? And we're not willing to let that friendship go just because, you know, somebody got their feathers ruffled.
Totally.
You know, over whatever the issue was. Because there's the truth, there's your side, my side, and what really happens, right? People don't realize that. It's not just black and white. There's a shade of gray in everything. So I just wanted to say that.
Awesome. I just love everything what you had to share. And thank you so much for coming today and sharing your wisdom, your experience. And I know people are going to take something with them, because whoever is going to watch, just remember, you're not watching it just to watch it, because there are no coincidences in the universe. It means that you meant to hear that information and you meant to reflect on it. And something is going to sparkle for yourself. And just stay open to the miracles, because they are always around us, and be the miracle yourself.
That's right. The sunshine you pour on others comes back to you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Laura. And everybody, yay! Have a beautiful weekend, everybody.